What's up, people? Um, so let me just try to give a real quick fucking rundown of what the New World Order agenda is, okay? And I'm just gonna say it bluntly as fuck, and it might just shock you, and you might not believe it, but you're gonna have to verify all the information. It's already, you can verify it with plenty of sources. So I don't really want to shock you, but I do want to get this information in your brain just so it's there and you understand. So I can't be super sensitive and beat around the bush and try to not shock you. It's probably gonna shock you, okay? But you can verify everything I'm talking about, okay? So the New World Order agenda is basically an agenda to enslave humanity. And how do they plan on doing this? First of all, they plan on controlling the monetary system, turning all money digital so they can remotely control everybody's accounts. That way, literally, if you do something out of line, if you're a dissident, if you protest the fucking totalitarian government they're planning, that they can click and just turn off your fucking money. So they want no physical money, so the society can't even function, outside of their control. Okay, that's number one. Also here they want microchips, which will hold all your vital information, your money and everything with GPS, which they got the technology for that. And I heard they want to fucking inject people like people tag cattle, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, they want the money digital so they can cut it off if you're a dissident or you don't go along with what if you have any type of rebellious attitude towards the totalitarian government they have planned. Okay, and you can see something very similar to this already existing in China. China makes up about 1/6 of the world's population, and they already have what is called the social points program with technology. They have surveillance, they have facial recognition on every fucking street corner. They know where everybody goes, they know everything that's happening. If you do something, you say something against the government, they'll fucking strike off points, and then that's going to restrict your ability to kind of exist or do anything within that sphere. The social points program is kind of like our credit score a little bit, and yeah, so they already got a system set up that's very similar. It's not all the way people ain't microchipped yet. I'm not gonna say yet, I don't know. And this is all kind of understood by conspiracy theorists, because there's been plenty of people who have been insiders or whatnot that have come out and explained this to us. They're seeing it, they're like, whoa man, I don't want no part of that. So they come out and tell people. Some of those people have been killed, you know what I'm saying, for being traitors and stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on that a lot of people don't see. There's and I'll tell you, like I said, you're gonna be shocked. There's people who have been contracted by the government to kind of help build what they call underground cities. They have them big old boring machines Elon Musk has with his boring company. They have those big old boring machines, and I've literally there's motherfucking people who have been contracted that have told us they got entire underground tunnel systems with crazy stuff going on. I don't even want to get into that too much, but that's part of it. So the New World Order agenda basically is a totalitarian worldwide government system that they want, and they want total control. And they already pretty much control the entire monetary system. If you don't know yet, pretty much every central bank in every country is privately owned. The Federal Reserve in the United States is a privately owned institution. It's made up of member banks, which are basically stockholders, and that's the institution that prints money, literally. So there's a privately owned institution that's literally printing money. So they already have control over the monetary system, and you can verify that. You go look it up anywhere. One obvious way to see that is true, if people don't believe me, you go look it up personally. Just go do that. But also you always see these congressional hearings, with the board of directors of the Federal Reserve, and you have Congress and the president critiquing, or kind of, I guess you could say, critiquing the board of directors instead of telling them what to do. So clearly it's an independent organization, and they control what is called monetary policy in the United States. They control the interest rates that kind of trickle down into commercial banks, which affects how much money is kind of being loaned out, which will affect the money supply, which has, you know, effects on the entire economy. So they already control the monetary system, which gives them control over like the entire economy. Okay, it's been going on for years, but they want to take it to a whole nother level and phase out physical money into digital money so they can control it. And this control over the economy for like in the United States has been about a century, a little bit more than a century. 1913 was when the Federal Reserve was created. In the world, there's been like central banks around the world for a while. And through that control, they've managed to kind of, there's artificial recessions that exist. And when those recessions happen, you know, certain people can buy up, you know, parts of the, you know, sectors of the economy, you know, for like pennies on the dollar. And with that, they've managed to kind of create this corporate oligarchy where it's like, you know, so many industries are controlled by these corporate giants. And, you know, people not only depend on them for what they need to live, but they also depend on them for their employment because they own entire industries. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation, but sometimes you're working for somebody and you don't want to like do certain things because you don't want to lose your job. And that in itself is a type of control. They control the things that people need to live, not only, you know, on the consumer end, but also for employment. And, you know, it's like a covert type of governing, you know what I mean? It's like you depend on these corporations for your livelihood, and you don't want to do anything that'll get you fired. So in one way or another, you know, whatever rules they have, you're following, you know, just by default, because the consequence of not following them is losing your livelihood. And that's part of it, you know, this corporate control, corporate oligarchy. And so that's part of it. They want to create a global kind of governing system, and you can see that over in Europe. They keep trying to have like this European Union thing, and they keep they're bringing migrants over. They're trying to like incorporate everything and just like mix it all up. And you know, they don't want countries to have their independent sovereignty, you know what I mean? They want to break down borders. They want to just create this mess. And, you know, people are really dysfunctional when it's a mess, you know what I mean? And it's part of weakening whatever type of, you know, order, you know, humans have created for themselves. Like independent countries, you know, with good order within them, with a good identity, you know, they kind of are, they pose a threat to, you know, let's say the globalist conspiracy, you know what I mean? And so they want to break that down in whatever way. That's why they're introducing migrants over in European countries and stuff, and kind of, you know, ruining the identity. They're trying to incorporate this and that and this and that. And they don't want strong, powerful organizations of people. They want to weaken every type of organization there is. And that way they can, you know, together we stand, divided we fall type thing, you know. They want to break down all types of organizations that people have that stand in the way of their agenda. And they're doing it. They're doing it. They another aspect of the war on terror, they can and you can look this up. There's a what is it called? I forget what it's called. There's declassified documents that describe it, but there is what's called a false flag attack. And it's basically, you know, the government will do something, blame it on somebody else, frame them, and then, you know, tell the public that it was them, and then use that as the justification for like military action against that group of people. And that way they can, you know, dismantle certain groups. And that's what the whole war on terror is based on. That's part of the war on terror. And it's like a tool to dismantle various groups. But also, on top of that, they can, you know, do something, frame people, whatever, to dismantle groups. But also they create this state of fear. And when they create that state of fear, like, oh, like they create chaos and whatnot, that's their excuse to create a whole bunch of like, you know, surveillance and take away freedoms and stuff, to create the surveillance state that I'm talking about. And so the war on terror is like a multifaceted thing. And Yeah, there's declassified documents talking about that. I forgot what they're called. There's one in particular that's referenced all the time. I might put a link or something. So yeah, the war on terror, that's its purpose. You got the media. The media is totally controlled. The media is like owned by 6 major corporations. And, you know, I think in America there's like one, I think it's like Associated Press or something. There's Reuters and like Associated Press. And like those 2 major like news giants, they like feed like scripts into these major media news corporation, you know, TV news studios or whatnot. And they literally like read the same news. It's like it's fed to them. And where there used to be independent journalism, there's now just this crap, this script that's read. And a lot, actually, to be honest, a lot of the independent journalists, you know, they have kind of underground stuff to do. Maybe like Vice on HBO, they kind of do some independent stuff, which looks like real journalism. They go down and investigate stuff. The major like evening news, most of that is just like, you know, straightforward, almost reading a script. There might be national news where they do some type of investigation, but a lot of the independent journalists have actually turned to kind of the conspiracy theory world, and like they've, you know, they come up with some stuff that kind of, you know, how should I say it, criminalizes certain people, like exposes certain things that people have done. They ain't got to show that on news. They're like, nope, like you're fired, you know what I mean? And you know, it's because the news, these major media corporations are owned by like 6 major fucking conglomerates. And you can see how that was used. For instance, right after 9/11, there was the war in Iraq, and you know, George Bush got up on TV and told us that he had weapons of mass destruction. So they went over there, invaded. They went in. They executed Saddam Hussein without even having a trial or anything. They just, I think they might have had like a little quasi trial. They hung him, and they had his little cell phone video and everything. And it turns out there was no weapons of mass destruction. It's a big freaking fraud. So you can see how just that type of false information can lead to real things. And that's how the media is used. It's used to create this big spectacle to kind of justify certain action. And, you know, even afterwards, they find out, oh, there wasn't no weapons of mass destruction. Sorry. It's like, well, you done invaded a whole country. You killed the man, you know what I mean? And that's how the media is used, with false information to kind of promote certain behavior, like militarily or whatever. And the war on terror is part of that. They can literally create chaos in one way or another, and you know, blame it on whoever. And when they create that chaos, they can say, well, here's what we got to do to solve it. You know, they create the problem and they sell you a solution. And that's what they do. They can frame whoever, they can do whatever, blame it on whoever. You know, that'd be an excuse to get rid of that group or dismantle that group, or, you know, they basically just call them terrorists or whatever. And that's, you know, the justification to kind of dismantle that group, to weaken that group. You know, like I said, they want to weaken these groups so they don't stand in the way. Okay, but 2, they offer the solution. They say, weaken that group for 1, but also, here, we need more security measures. We need to take away your freedoms. We need to screen you and everything and this and that. And that's how they're creating a surveillance state. Operation Northwoods, that's what it's called. Northwoods, go look it up. You know, a lot of people say, you know, I won't even get into too much speculation, but that's a pretty simple, like, military tactic, you might say, is to kind of frame people. You know, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. You need the excuse or the justification to go invade this country. You know, you have your own agenda. You want to invade this country, but you need the public to support it. Okay, well, just frame them. You know what I mean? It's that simple. And that's what they do. They basically have like this false narrative that they play out to people. They have their own agenda, but they have this false narrative that they play out to people on the news and stuff. And, you know, if you're not a conspiracy theorist, you're not, you know, you're none the wiser. You know what I mean? And so this whole New World Order agenda is They want total control, surveillance, everything. They already have like corporate control, like corporate, you know, oligarchy situation going on. They want to control the monetary system, make it all digital. They want to microchip people out here. And, you know, in the United States, we still have our guns. I'm sure they don't want us to have our guns. That's not going to be easy for them if we all have guns. So they continuously do the same thing. They'll create violence, and they'll say, well, here's what we need to do. We need to get rid of guns, you know. And they'll continue to do that. Do it over and over and over and over. Create the violence, create the spectacle, and, you know, create the problem, sell the solution. They'll do it over and over. And they did it. So China, like I said, is already kind of down that road. They already got like the social points program. Way back when they took away the guns, and they waited a couple years, and then they like literally like massacred like 50 million people or something like that. And most of those, I'm sure a lot of those people were like people that they didn't want around because they might stand in the way of their totalitarian system that they're trying to create. And that happened. That really happened. I'm not trying to you know, trip y'all out or nothing, and that's why guns are so important. Don't let them. And you have to see, and this is why it's so important to talk about this, because they already did it in China. They're trying to do this with the whole world. You know what I'm saying? The people in China, a lot of them, I mean, they're miserable. They might, you know, tolerate it in one way or another, but dude, like, it must suck over there. You can't even have your own opinion. You know what I mean? You get told that it's incorrect political language. And though literally I heard something like there was a bunch of Muslims living out in the countryside, and they brought them all into like these little concentration camps, and they're re-educating them. You see what I'm saying? China already has a totalitarian system going on, and that makes up 1/6 of the world's population. And so for the whole world, you know, I'm thinking about the future of humanity. Like, dude, we have to like keep the glimmer of hope and freedom alive. We cannot let that flame die. You know what I'm saying? It's like, especially the United States, because the United States is like the symbol of freedom around the world. People like dream of coming to the United States just to like live a decent life, because we are that symbol. We still have our guns, you know what I'm saying? We have free media. We got people out here talking and, you know, whatever. But you have to see what's going on. If you're naive, just like Thomas Jefferson said, you know, there's never been such a thing as a free and ignorant society, you know what I mean? Or nor will there ever be. So if you're naive, you're going to get played, you know what I'm saying? And that's why people have to understand what's going on. So that's the New World Order agenda in a nutshell. They want total control. And I could tell you what they plan. Like I said, they already have control over the monetary system, which gives them control over the economy. They can literally create recessions, okay? Here's what I think they have planned. I don't know this 100% sure, but I think they want to create a recession. When they create a recession, people might be starving, struggling. They might start protesting. When they start protesting, they can incite riots or violence, and that would be the excuse to create some sort of martial law. When they create martial law, they'll have exactly what I'm saying, all these the excuse they need or the justification to create more surveillance, do this, possibly take away guns, and just create chaos and sell the solution, which is, oh, look, we got to take away guns, we got to have more surveillance, this and that. And that will be like the iron grip that they try to, you know, control society with. And I'm telling you. So that's what they have planned. And, you know, like I said, crash the economy, the dollar, the monetary system, have people starving, start protesting a little bit, and then they'll literally like turn it into something crazy. And, you know, that'll be the excuse or the justification to create all these, you know, excessive measures and do whatever. And that's not good, man, because that'll be like the iron grip on the situation. And you have to be keen to these people's tactics. That's why I'm telling you about this war on terror. That's why I'm telling you about the tactics, how they come in and, you know, literally they create a problem and sell a solution. They create chaos and tell you we need all these surveillance and everything. We need this whole control system so that you're protected. But really, they're the ones who are attacking you in the first place. And Operation Northwoods, go look it up. It's really that simple, man. That's how these people operate. They want to create this totalitarian worldwide system. And if you're not wise to their agenda, this New World Order agenda, you're going to get played. You know what I mean? You're just going to go, you're like, oh, maybe we do need surveillance. Maybe we do need protection. Maybe we do need to get rid of guns. These are the people who are attacking you in the first place, telling you that you need to get rid of your guns. They're attacking you and then convincing you that you need to lower your guard. That's totally dumb, apparently. You know, we really don't even have to discuss how that's stupid, but that's exactly what it is. So like I said, man, if you're not wise to what's going on, you're going to get played. And that's why I'm trying to put y'all on some, game, whatever you want to call it. And conspiracy theory, that's really what's going on. And like I said, it might be a shock if you ain't heard of this stuff, but go look at go verify all this stuff. Go listen to these conspiracy theories. They ain't just, media tries to paint conspiracy theories as just these crazy people that just believe stupid shit. No, they got motherfucking declassified documents, insiders that done defected, who done been assassinated after the fact. Motherfuckers who are about to die anyway. They said, fuck it, I'm gonna spill the beans on what's going on. Top government officials, shit like that. Man, listen to JFK. JFK had a secret society speech talking about this shit, what's going on and shit. You see what happened, you know what I mean? So, motherfuckers know Eisenhower. He was talking about the military-industrial complex. We got presidents talking about this shit. Look it up. And they're trying to protect us, the American sovereignty, against this new world order, totalitarian global system. I'm telling you, it's so important. Keep your guns. I'm telling you, we are like the flicker. We're the glimmer of hope in the world. We are like the flame that shines, for the rest of the world to really believe in some sort of freedom and prosperity that can be possible, outside of any type of totalitarian, dictatorial control, you know what I mean? And we have to keep that hope alive, not just for ourselves, but for the world. We have to keep it alive for our own prosperity, but also for the world. We have to, we have to remain that symbol of freedom and hope for the rest of the world. And we have to be leaders as a country. We have to be an example, you know what I mean? And so we have to be wise to what is going on, or we're going to get played. And that's no way to be a role model, you know what I mean? How would it look like you're trying to be a role model to some kids and you get played and, made to look like a fool, you know what I mean? That's embarrassing. So, we as a country, have to be wise to what's going on and stay vigilant, stay woke. That's the saying these days. So pay attention to what's going on. That's it. I'm telling you, it might seem shocking. Go verify everything. That being said, I don't know what else I need to say, but that is, I'm trying to put y'all on game. I'm trying to let y'all know what's going on. So, don't just close this video and just think, okay, that dude's just crazy. Go verify stuff. Look up Operation Northwoods for one. Look up how the Federal Reserve is a privately owned institution. Look at the United States. The United States is $22 trillion in debt. Look at how the government is spending literally, I think there's just a $700 billion military budget, while the United States is $22 trillion in debt, a $700 billion budget that was just passed. And the United States is off in these random countries doing shit that they really don't need to be doing, while they're in debt, handing money to other countries, no less. It's, you see that foreign aid and stuff. While in debt, taking money out of your paycheck, you know what I'm saying? While there's people starving on the streets, ain't got Medicaid and Medicare coverage, but they got money for these crazy wars and stuff. You see what I'm saying? Just look at the situation. You can see it ain't right. And you can see, you just see so much. There's so much to it. The media propagating certain things, keeping you distracted with stupid, social movements while there's real shit going on. Like I said, the government, what is it spending money on? Real stuff going on. Okay? You got fucking pop culture that trains kids to be retards. You know what I'm saying? It's all distraction from what's really going on, and that's intentional. It's not accidental. And like I said, there's never been such a thing as a free and ignorant society, nor will there ever be. And it's on us. It's on us to really keep that glimmer of hope, alive in the world, for freedom and real prosperity. If that symbol dies, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not going to look, there might be other symbols elsewhere, but really, we don't want to let that die. We're America, you know what I mean? We're supposed to be proud. We're supposed to be, you know, that symbol of hope for the rest of the world. We're supposed to be role models. We're supposed to be leaders around the world, you know, and represent what real freedom's about and the prosperity that can come from it, you know. We're trying to, you know, it's a certain responsibility, you know, being this country, you know what I mean? So that being said, I guess that's just verify to all your damn self. Look, I know, I can already tell, I can just tell by what I said. I know how people function. You know, there's gonna be a lot of people doubting what I just said. They're gonna think I'm just making up stuff. Verify to your dang self. Go look it up. Like I said, Operation Northwoods, Federal Reserve, privately owned. They print money. Privately owned bank printing money. Okay. Look at what the government's spending money on while there's people starving out here. Look at the income disparity. You know, there's people that are basically like wage slaves to these big old corporations. Look at the situation. Look at the situation. Look at China. It's already happening in China. It's already happening in China. Look at it. Look at them trying to phase out money. You can see this stuff. You can see it. It's a slow going process, and you see like so many things that they're doing go in that direction. Don't just listen to me and just think I'm crazy. Look at what's going on in the world. It's all matching up perfectly with what I just said. And there you go. That's all you need to really, you go look it up your damn self. Be a conspiracy theorist like you're supposed to be. Be vigilant. Stay woke. See what's going on in the world. Don't be ignorant. There's never been such thing as a free and ignorant society, nor will there ever be. Pay attention to what's going on. Conspiracy theorists are like the epitome of woke, of not ignorant. They pay attention to what's going on. So pay attention to what's going on. See what's going on. We have to keep this glimmer of hope alive for the rest of the world. This flame of freedom, injustice, whatever, alive. You know, there's people around the world who are living in much worse conditions than we are. So be thankful for what you have. Don't take it for granted. Keep the fire burning, you know what I mean? Don't be a moron and let something beautiful, you know, fall into nothingness. That would be totally moronic. So that being said, share this video, tell people, whatever you gotta do, and I'm just doing my part of trying to spread the word. So it is what it is. Thank you guys for listening. Much love. Peace.